Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Cramer. I have Cindy with us, and we're going to talk about divine timing and how it affects your business. I know you're pushing. I know you're hustling. I know you're making shit happen. And we all had that experience where it's like, I'm so locked onto this goal. Why isn't it happening? You're the perfect person to talk to about this, Cindy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to dive into this today. It's a game changer. Absolutely.
Okay. Everyone listening has had that experience. You set a goal, and a lot of goal setting is like you're supposed to be so specific, exactly what you want, exactly when you want it by, as though we have the ability. We can't control everything. In fact, it kind of seems like we can't control much of anything, but if you write it down on your goal card, right?
Then it's true.
So let's talk about this, Cindy. I mean, what is divine timing? We've all heard it,
Yep.
whether it's a religious principle or a spiritual principle, or just like I know there's something more going on here to life. Talk to us from your perspective.
Absolutely. This has actually been one of the biggest game changers in my business because I used to be a hustler. I used to be actually my business name back in the day was Get Shit Done because I was the productivity girl and I was based a lot of my self-worth on my ability to get things done. But it ended up in adrenal fatigue, burnout, exhaustion, and me being miserable and all of my relationships falling apart at the seams. And that was not how I wanted to live my life. And I was introduced to this concept of the 6 stages of transformation through the lens of divine timing. So divine timing is very misunderstood, like you said. It's something, but we don't really know what it is. So I'd love to share what these 6 stages are so that your audience and everybody listening can get a sense of how this works. Because usually when I talk about it, I get this, oh, that makes total sense. So if I could share that, I think it would be very
Yes,
useful for you.
please enlighten
Okay.
us.
Yes. Okay. So there are a lot of people that say things like, well, all in divine timing. If the universe wants me to have it, I will. Or there's the people who write down the SMART goals on a piece of paper and then hustle and push and push and push and push and burn themselves out. There is a rhythm to everything. And when you understand that rhythm through this lens of divine timing, everything changes. And it doesn't matter if you are spiritual or religious or anything. This is simply science. We see divine timing unfold in everything in our world. All you have to do is look to nature. If you see the 4 seasons move through, there's a rhythm, there's a pattern. In the spring, you start to see plants coming up out of the ground. There is a rhythm to how that grows. They burst out of the ground, but before they burst out of the ground, they're germinating and you can't see anything. So we see the divine timing cycle move through every single aspect of our lives. And when we learn to leverage it, that's where everything changes. So you have a goal or an intention and you decide that you want to experience something. So let's say that you'd like to 10x your revenue in your business. So you become aware of, I would like to do this. And in that awareness, you start to get really curious. So the first stage of divine timing is awareness. You start to get curious, you start to research opportunities, maybe looking at different ways that you might be able to do this. But what the ego mind wants to do in that place is figure out all the hows and reverse engineer it and then control it. And that's not your job. In awareness, you are meant to be super curious and in that place of possibility. So dreaming, visualizing, wondering, what if it was possible to do this versus sitting down in front of your computer for 15 hours trying to bust it out, right? Which is where exhaustion comes from. In curiosity, you're spending more time walking out in the field, waiting for inspiration to drop. You are playing with the cats because it's fun and you're curious and cats are curious, right? So you're finding those things that light you up, but then also maybe an hour in front of your computer doing some research, maybe connecting with your mentor or your coach, coming up with ideas, brainstorming, which then moves you into a stage, the second stage of divine timing, which is acceptance. So acceptance is the place where you start to realize how separate you are from that 10x revenue. And then you start to beat yourself up. Well, I should have done it a year ago. Why didn't I do this? And all the blame and guilt and shame and everything, all that. And then you feel so separate from it. And what do you try to do? Work it out. So you try to hustle again and you try to push. But here's the thing. Us human beings, we are very good at avoiding our feelings. And we are very good at shoving them under the carpet and numbing and dumbing and drugging it and Netflixing it and drinking wine and pretending it doesn't exist. But in that stage of acceptance, the number one thing that you can do to support you actually 10xing your revenue is to sit down and feel your feelings, which nobody loves to do, especially me. Not a big fan. So most people skip over this part and try to work through it by doing more work. But actually sitting back and accepting yourself, accepting that you did not do it last year, and I love and accept myself anyway. But not only accepting what was, but accepting what is. Your revenue is not 10x right now, but then accepting what could be. Next year, it could be 10x. And so you're amplifying the feeling state behind it because without the energy behind something, you're not going to have any follow through. And if you are working and working and working and working and you've got nothing but guilt and shame behind all of that, your results are going to be much dimmed because you don't have that gratitude, that excitement, that exuberance, that, oh my God, I can't wait to get in front of my computer and do the thing because I'm so excited. Instead, you're like, oh, I have to go and do the thing. And I feel like crap. So spending time in that acceptance stage, really allowing yourself to feel what's going on, to feel that separation, but also remind yourself, I can create whatever I want. Which then leads you into the third stage of divine timing, which is self-responsibility. This is my personal favorite. This is when you pull up your adult pants and you make a decision. This is where the rubber starts to hit the road. This is where you might put a plan in place and write down the things that need to get done. This is where a commitment is made. This is also a decision not from in the mind, but a decision that is whole body. Oh, yeah, let's go. And you all know what that is. It's the goosebumps that you get. It's the body actually leaning forward, going, oh my God, yeah, let's go do that. It's the excitement that you get. And you feel it more than just, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's go do that. Because in order to actually 10x your revenue, you're going to have commitment because it's not going to be an easy road. And there's going to be things that come along that try to throw you off track. And so you have to have that full cellular, full body yes to help you follow through when things get hard because they will. As an entrepreneur, I think everybody knows being an entrepreneur is easy sometimes and not most of the time. So once you've made that decision, this is the point in divine timing where you become partnered with universe, God, source, whatever label you want to give that. Because as you mentioned, we can't control things. And so there are forces beyond what we can see and control. And there's energy. Everything is energy. So that energy is working on our behalf. But you have to show up and do the work. So this is where I see a lot of people say, well, you know, if the universe wants me to have it, then it'll all work out. No, 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 no. You have to go and do stuff. You have to be in partnership. So this is where you move into the fourth stage of divine timing, which is activation. Now, in activation, you are taking action. You are moving forward. You're doing the things that need to get done day after day after day after day. In my industry, I work in the online coaching industry. It's posting the content every day. It's making sure that you're selling every day. It's making sure that you're showing up for your business every day. It's also taking care of yourself every day, making sure that you're getting proper nutrition and exercise. It's all of those pieces, depending on your intention. But in your business, you also have to take care of you because you're showing up, right? So in the activation stage, it's also really important to leave gaps because you're not in control and magic can happen. but not if you're in front of your computer for 16 hours, hustling and doing everything and trying to control everything. So we have to leave space for those inspired ideas, those nudges that you get where it's like, hey, pick up the phone and call that person. And you're like, why? I have to do this right now. Call that person. Because guaranteed that person has a connection for you or an idea for you that's going to point you towards 10xing your revenue. So we have to leave some space for that magic, whatever you want to call that, the unseen world to do its job. Which then leads us into the fifth stage of divine timing, which is momentum or acceleration. Those two words go hand in hand. So once you've been doing enough of the things consistently, day after day after day after day, you start to activate the compound interest law where things start to move and results start to come in. So now things are happening. The calls are coming in, the calendar's filling up, the money is coming in, and you're like, oh, it's getting too busy. Whoa, 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 stop, stop, stop. And some people sabotage in this moment because it's too much. I can't handle it. I wasn't expecting to be this busy. I've got too many things going on, and now I forgot to shower, and I forgot to eat, and I forgot to drink water today. And oh my God, I haven't talked to my spouse in 3 days. And momentum is not designed to last. It is a very short burst of time. And there will be a lot of distractions coming in. I always like to refer to this stage of momentum as a rocket ship taking off. It takes more fuel for that rocket ship to actually, I hope my battery doesn't die. It takes more fuel for that rocket ship to actually take off than it does for the rocket ship once it's in orbit. But when the rocket ship takes off, there is smoke and debris and stuff flying everywhere. You're the rocket, not the smoke and debris. So avoid the distractions and the shiny objects and this and oh, that's happening over there. Just stay focused on where you're going and keep doing the thing day after day after day. Which then leads you to the sixth stage of divine timing, which is transmutation. And in transmutation, it's a pause, it's a slowdown. So here's what people do. Oh no, everything's slowing down. My calendar is empty. Nobody's booked calls with me. Have I done something wrong? No. You have become the person who has 10x their revenue. And if you go back and look, you'll see, oh my gosh, look at what I did. So go back and look, reflect, celebrate yourself, because now you have become the person who has 10x their revenue. And once you've celebrated, you will immediately become aware of something else. Well, let's go 20x it this time. And you move back into the cycle. Yeah, so
Incredible.
that's the divine timing cycle.
Incredible. So now we can see how this applies to goals.
Mhm.
Would you say that it applies to the growth in our lives as well, even if it's not a formal goal? So, we
Mm,
all go through these different cycles in our life, and you get into a serious relationship or you buy a new home or whatever it is. And sometimes people don't think of that as an actual goal. But I would say from experience, the same exact pattern exists. It's just you're experiencing it a little bit differently, maybe in a more laid back way, allowing a little bit more because you're not so emotionally tied up in the status or the whatever.
yeah, absolutely. So, yes, absolutely. The divine timing cycle will flow through every aspect of your life, whether you're being intentional about it or not. So, what I usually recommend with people is to be intentional about one or two divine timing cycles and let the rest kind of work themselves out. So, when you're buying a house, you are still in that cycle. And if you're really intentional about it, then you want to make sure that you are still following those cycles, but it might take a little longer because buying a home takes longer. So you can have divine timing cycles that happen in a day, happen in a week, happen over 7 weeks, happen over 7 years, happen over the course of your lifetime. happen over a year. It just depends on what your intention is and how quickly you want things to happen.
For someone who has a goal that's been elusive to them, they're probably wondering how they can take this conceptually and make it work for them. We've all had that where there's the inner resistance. Obviously, that's something I'm working with people on a lot. The self-limiting beliefs that are interfering, the self-image that's out of alignment. I know you also have gone through a lot of stuff and overcome trauma, and some people they're not over their stuff. So there are all these different things that can adversely affect someone's ability to achieve what they want to achieve in their business or even in their personal life. How can someone take something that's been that one sticking point that like,
Yeah.
it's breaking my heart that I cannot seem to achieve this goal and it means so much to them. How can they take and
Mhm.
apply this new knowledge?
Mm. So one of the things is awareness is everything. My clients laugh at me all the time. I sound like a broken record because without awareness, you can't change anything. So being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, what's going on for you in that current moment. Am I overly attached to this outcome? Like if you just want it so bad, oftentimes what humans do is try to control it. And if you're trying to control it, it's not going to happen. We have to surrender and let go. Now, that is easier said than done. I can promise you that. But if you know that you are in the awareness stage and you've got this new intention and you hear your brain say, "How do I do this?" You can remind yourself, "Oh, it's not my job to know how." And it allows you to put on the brakes a little bit and just open yourself up to curiosity. If you are aware that you are in the acceptance stage and you're beating the crap out of yourself for not having done what you want to do yet, then you can focus on things like forgiveness. Forgiveness work is huge to be able to let go. I know I've had to do lots of that work through the trauma and stuff that I've experienced. And really just allowing spaciousness for you to have a good cry, for you to go and punch your pillow, for you to process your emotions in healthy ways. And if you are aware that you're in self responsibility, then that's when you can start to really like, how committed am I to this? Why do I want this? Why is it so important to me? And not just, I want to 10x my revenue because I want to make more money. That's not going to drive you. That's really not. Like, I want my family to be supported. I want to be able to make sure that I have time to spend with my kids because I'm building a financial future for them. That's a why that's going to keep you driving forward. If you're in the activation stage and you're working too hard, slow down. Just slow down. It's really easy. I come from a project management background, so the whole reverse engineer and step by step by step and control the process. That has required me to be intentional about putting in time for myself, putting in self-care into my calendar, making it non-negotiable, putting in additional like meditation or whatever systems that you use to take care of yourself. Schedule in, I'm going for a walk every day, because otherwise you're just going to sit down in front of your computer because you're so driven to get this done. So really being intentional about creating space during that time. In momentum, hang on, just hang on tight. If things are really busy and you've got a lot going on, number one, ask for support. Ask your family, whoever, if you're working from home, ask your spouse to make sure that things are taken care of. I ask my fiance all the time, when he knows I'm in momentum, he takes me out for dinner instead of me having to cook food. He doesn't know how to cook. Or he'll make sure that the chores are done around the house, things like that to kind of take stuff off my plate so that I can stay focused. And then when you notice and you become aware that things are slowing down, recognize the signs. Oh, yeah, this is that place of transmutation. It's okay. I can surrender in and go, okay, it's happening. Right? In momentum, we often ask the question, when? When is it going to happen? When is this goal going to come true? When? It will come true when you do enough things enough times the right way. And so you just keep going, head down, blinders on, stop asking when, just keep doing it. And then one day you look up and you're like, holy crap, I did it. And don't forget to celebrate in that moment.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so now right at this moment, there are people who are thinking, okay, this is brilliant. Who is this woman? What does she do? So let's talk a little bit about your business and how you're supporting clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started my business as a virtual assistant. So I was the one behind the scenes doing all of the tech and building websites and funnels and all of that stuff. So I'm very good with technology, but I realized how much I did not like doing that work. So I have morphed. I met a numerologist and universal laws mentor 9 years ago now. I no longer work with her, but she taught me everything I know about universal law and numerology. And I use the universal law as well as my own experience with technology, as well as the numerology to support business owners, mostly online coaches, mentors, healers, people who are trying to build something in the online space because of the technology. But more than anything, I help my clients really become more resilient, become more confident, and get really clear on who they are, where they are, what time it is for them, so that they can create the results that they are looking for in the online space.
Awesome. Well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to ask how our listeners can connect with you. Where do they go? Send them to you.
I love it. You can find me on my website, fullblastcoaching.com. But somebody once told me the definition of success is when you can get Googled and people find you. If you just Google my name, you'll find me everywhere. I'm on all social media. I'm all over the place. So
Ah,
yeah.
I love it. I think my son is 15 now. I think it was when maybe he was about 6. And he's had a computer since he was 4, but he started to like go and, do different stuff and gaming and things like that when he was a little bit older. And one time he looked up my name. He said, "Mom, you're famous." It was so cute. Like, no, honey, mom's not famous. I've just been around a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Amazing.
that. It's really fun to feel yourself for sure. I do have a gift for the audience as well. If
Wonderful.
if divine timing is something that you want to explore a little bit more, I have a workbook on my website that you can download for free, and it allows you to tap into your weekly divine timing rhythm. So it helps you to do the calculation to figure out when your time starts. And then there's journal prompts and kind of what to expect during each stage of divine timing so that you can go through that and look at how that could unfold for you for the week. And then, of course, layer that into all other divine timing cycles. So if you want that, it is on my website. You can find that at fullblastcoaching.com.
Excellent. A very enlightening conversation. Probably some
Absolutely.
people who are like, oh, why didn't I hear about this sooner? That could have saved me so much heartache, so much
Yeah.
confusion. No, super, super awesome conversation. Thank you so much, Cindy, for being with us today.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you to everyone who has joined us. You know we're doing this for you. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.